JavaScript variables. We have two terms, variables and constants. Constant whose value cannot be changed. Variable means anything that can vary. A variable stores the data value that can be changed later on. We use different notations in different environments. In JavaScript, we use the reserved keyword var to declare a variable. So look at the syntax, var followed by variable name semicolon. Every variable name must be unique. Look at the example, var msg semicolon. Here the variable msg is declared. It's just declared, not assigned with any value. It doesn't have any value yet. So you can assign a value to variable using assignment operator when you declare it. So we have an example here. Started with HTML and body h1 is your heading. The variable declaration msg is declared, var msg semicolon. msg is equal to hello JavaScript. The variable msg is assigned a string value. So whatever you put within double quotation is a string. And we have alert msg, you are accessing the variable. At the time of declaration itself, we can assign a value. So look at this, var num is equal to 100 semicolon. The declaration and assignments in a single statement. The variable num is assigned with a numeric value 100. Look at another statement, var 100 is equal to num semicolon. We have two variables here, 100 and num. The variable 100 is assigned with num, that is 100, and we used alert for accessing both the variables. So in this, the msg is declared first and then is assigned with a string value. In another statement, we have declaration and assignment. We use the term initialization. Assigning a value at the time of declaration is initialization. Multiple variables declaration. Multiple variables can also be declared in a single line, in a single statement. All the variables must be separated by comma. Look at this example. Variable 1 is equal to 1, tw2 is equal to 2, comma 3, semicolon. So we have multiple variables. Here we have three variables. The first variable assigned with 1, second variable assigned with 2, and third variable is just declared, not assigned any value. JavaScript allows multiple white spaces and line breaks when you declare a variable with var. Look at the example. So we have white space and line breaks. Observe the things clearly. The semicolon at the end is optional here. So we have strongly typed variables and loosely typed variables. C# or Java has strongly typed variables, means you need to declare the variable with the data type. You need to specify the type of data at the time of declaration. Whereas JavaScript is a loosely typed language, we don't need to specify the data type at the time of declaration, but you can assign any literal values to the variable. It can be a string or integer, float, boolean, etc. So we have few examples. Here my variable is assigned with a numeric value, declared and assigned with a numeric value, and it's again assigned with a string and a float and a boolean and null value. So at the time of declaration, we do not specify the type of data. Variable scope. So we have two here. One is global scope or local scope. Variables declared out of any function are global, means can be used anywhere. They can be accessed anywhere in the code. Local variables, the variables which are declared inside the function are local and cannot be used, cannot be accessed outside the function. They can be accessed only inside the function. So that's the reason why they are called local variables. So look at this example. var greet is equal to hello. Greet is the name of the variable. We have function. The name of the function is my function. Inside the function we have another variable msg. var msg is equal to javascript. So inside the function we have one variable msg. Outside the function we have greet. So whatever is declared outside the function is a global one. Whatever you declare inside is local. So global variable can be accessed anywhere. Look at the alert greet plus msg. You are accessing both the global variable and local variable. My function semicolon is your function call. Look at alert greet and alert msg. Alert greet is valid. You are trying to access a global variable. A global variable can be accessed anywhere. Whereas alert msg is showing error. You cannot access the local variable. msg is a variable which is declared inside the function my function, which cannot be accessed outside the function. So as we discussed earlier, any variable must be declared with the help of var. Even the variables can be declared and initialized without var keyword, but a value must be assigned to the variable once you declare without var. The variables declared without var, they are global variables. Even they are declared anywhere, means irrespective of where they are declared. But we don't recommend the variable to be declared without var keyword because there is a chance of overwrite. So we have an example here. msg is assigned with hello javascript, a string, but is declared without var. So look at alert msg. You try to compare with the previous example. In the previous example, alert msg gets you an error because it cannot access the local variable, whereas in this case it is allowed because msg is declared without var, is global, can be used outside the function also. What are the rules to be followed while naming variable names? The names are case sensitive. Look at that msg, 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 all are considered as separate variables. The variable name can contain letters, digits, or the symbols dollar and underscore. The variable name cannot be a reserved word. So you need to remember a few points. The variable stores a value that can be changed later on. but not in the case of constants. In case of constants, the value cannot be changed. The variables can be defined using var. As we discussed earlier, the variables which are defined without var are global variables. Before accessing any variable, the variable must be initialized. You need to give some value. Can be integer, real, string, anything. JavaScript allows multiple white spaces and line breaks. We already discussed with an example. And multiple variables can be defined in a single line separated by comma. The variable names are case sensitive and so on. So we have a simple example here. Look at the title as variables. Script type is equal to JavaScript. So we have variables ONE1, TW2. The first variable is assigned with 22 and second one is with 3. var add is equal to 1 plus 2. var minus is equal to 1 minus 2. var multiply is equal to 1 multiplied by 2. Instead of 1, 2, add, minus, multiply, you can use the variables x, y, z, a, b, c and so on. This is a simple demonstration program for arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So document.write. So one for add, one for minus, multiply and divide and so on. So we have another example. var data is equal to 200, which is global. We have function A, function B, and A is called and B is called. As we discussed earlier, the global variable can be accessed anywhere inside. So we have another example where var value is equal to 50, a global variable. We have function A, function B. Two functions are defined and check out how many are called. So A semicolon, only A is called, B is not called. Once you define any function, the statements inside the function will be executed once you call it. The existence of any function comes into picture if you make a call. Once it is defined, it must be called. So here A is called and B is not called. So the statements inside function B will not be executed. So we have another example, function M. Look at that inside function M, window value is equal to 100. You are declaring a global variable by window object. Function N, so inside function N, alert window dot value. So you can access the global variable from another function. Here we have two functions, M and N. This is a simple example for window object. Both the functions are called.